it's going to be really tough. Consider before taking them into your home. So things like that. So let me know what kind of things you might want to know about the kids before you say yes. When I started kind of putting my list together, I had Bert actually take a picture of the one I had written down at home from training. And then I texted a friend who's a foster parent. She's kind of been our support, kind of just checking in from time to time. And I said, hey, letting you know we got the first call. She's like, oh my God, so exciting. And I'm like, and she's like, okay, what do you need? What do you need? And I go, tell me what questions you think I should ask. I wanted to compare notes with someone that had been through it before. Maybe something that she wished she had asked before she took the placement. And she said, that's a great question. And she sent me a list of what she really recommended. And I was really reassured because it was the stuff that was on my list. And she went the extra mile to actually send me 2 links to lists of questions for foster parents to use as well. So it was really nice to have that support in place that I could just reach out and have that experienced person tell me this is how to do it. So Kelly has put in a question here, which is great. Okay. Why isn't it showing up? There it is. Wow, things are just so delayed today. Okay, what is their situation that brought them into needing a foster home or placement? And this is a great question. A lot of times, the caseworker might or might not know. Well, I guess I shouldn't say a lot of time. The caseworker might or might not know. But this is a great question. Usually they'll know, and usually they'll be able to give you kind of an overview, not a detailed situation. So they might say it was due to neglect. They may say it was due to mental health. Maybe they'll say it was, sexual abuse. But they aren't going to be able to tell you exactly what happened. That information is often collected by the foster parents and then provided to the caseworker and then into that team that supports the kid and the reunification. So that's a great question. And usually they'll offer that in the situation that we had. I'll get to this in a moment, but we got a second call. The first one, they didn't know what the situation was, why the kids were put into the system. All they knew was that they had just been taken out of their home and that they were looking for immediate placement that night or the next day. So that's a great question. Good job, Kelly. The second call that we got actually came on Thursday, so 2 days later, right? So we got that. We got Wednesday morning the update. They don't need us. Then Thursday, our licensing worker calls in the afternoon, and she says, "Hey, just wanted to check in and make sure that you knew you're in the system." She was responding kind of to the email that I had sent her, saying just making sure we're good. She's like, "Yep, you're very good. You're all set. By the way, I've got these 3 girls that might need a home. And these 3 girls are already placed in homes. They were in the system. They were brought into the system while Bert and I were getting licensed. So we couldn't take them in yet. But they were placed in different homes, not together. So 2 of them are in one and one's in another." And she said, we'd really like to keep the girls together. And she offered up the information that why the children were in care. Now, I can't share that information with you. Those are the kinds of things that I'm not supposed to talk about with other people. So, but I can share that I did get that information, not in detail, but enough to know, what the situation was. But there were a lot of questions, and I needed to check with Bert first. But my first concern was, after all that talking that Bert and I did after the first call, and we realized, now's not the best time, I immediately said that. I said, hey, this sounds great because we have 3 beds. We can take the 3 girls and, take them here. That would be great. But I'm leaving for Spain. And, it wouldn't be a good time. She's like, you know what? They're already in homes. The good thing is you can wait until you get back from Spain. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's great. I said, let me talk to my husband and I'll get back to you. So that's how that call went. And I, talked to Bert right away and I said, hey, this is a situation. This is not a, tonight or tomorrow thing, but we have time. So we talked about it. We talked about it again. We actually took the whole weekend to kind of think about it. And it was kind of cute because I said, Bert, how do you feel about having 3 girls? It's all girls and then Bert in the house. And he was actually, it was really sweet, his response. He's like, yeah, I'm fine with it. Like he didn't even skip a beat thinking about it. And I just found that really, really wonderful. It was really wonderful and supportive, and it just made me feel like, okay, this is something we can do, and he's not, hoping for a boy or holding out for a boy, or mix or one of each or any certain gender ratio. He's okay with this opportunity. So I called our licensing worker back today, and I just said, okay, hey, look, we're interested, but we have questions. She's like, okay, I'm going to stop you there because I'm not the caseworker. In fact, I don't even know who the caseworker is. I just know that these girls were separated, and I would actually have to kind of dig around to find out where they were placed. So let's do this. After you get back from Spain, let's talk then. And she said the reason she doesn't want to start it now is because if we start going through these steps and the motions to take the girls in here, it might get the girls' hopes up. And it might disappoint them if it doesn't work out. And I said, I totally understand. And I just kind of gave her like the questions that we have are, are they already in summer activities? Are they already in summer camp wherever they are? We have no idea what part of the state they're in. They could be nearby. They could be at the other end of the state. Who knows? They could just be out in the suburbs and, already signed up for something through the park district or the school or whatever it may be out there. Or maybe they're really attached to the people they were placed with. And on top of that, I had a question, are you sure that the girls want to be together? Because some siblings are not close and other siblings are very close. So those were the things that we just wanted to make sure that we're not tearing these kids apart and causing more trauma, taking them away from a good placement where they want to be. That they want to be together, and then we're not disrupting an activity or something that they're already signed up for, and then they have to start all over. So it's complicated, right? Like I'm trying to give you a little insight into how complicated all this gets when a child is trying to be placed in the right place, but there's a lot of things that they have to consider and work with. So Kelly had another great question here. So, will you know if it's a first-time placement or a foster child that has been to other foster homes? So yes, this information they will know and they will share with us, and it does make a difference because if they're coming from another foster home, there might be a couple of reasons. One, it could be the situation like where they just want to keep the siblings together and they can only do that if they move them all somewhere new. Or it could be that the foster family just realized they are not the right fit for that child. And it could be behavioral. It could just be they didn't have the patience to wait until they had a connection. Could be that there just was no connection and they just felt like, I don't know, that it wasn't helping the child. It's really hard to disrupt. And I'm in these support groups where people share their stories. And it's really sad to hear. It's heartbreaking because people don't want to disrupt. It's not like, oh, get this kid out of here. But the stories that lead to it are heavy. It's taken with deep consideration, in what's the best interest for their family and the child. I don't think anyone just like, hey, it's not working out. It's only been a couple days. Get this kid out of here. It is a very heavy decision that needs to be made. So great question about that. The other thing when they're coming from another placement, another foster home, that child's going to come with more information than when they're just being taken from their biological family. And when they're coming from their bio family and you're the first placement, you need to look for information. You need to kind of collect that information, like I said, and report it to the caseworker and to the team. And if they're coming from another family, that information has been reported to the team already, and then the next foster parents, we would get that information. So we might learn hey, there was more going on at home than we even knew. You might learn a little bit more about the children's behavior, their learning style, disabilities, anything like that, and patterns and everything. So that information does become a lot, it helps you get a faster start if you get a child from another placement. Which this is a great segue, actually. Talking about learning, Bert and I have to continue taking classes as foster parents. This is part of the program. So every 4 years, you have to get relicensed. In those 4 years, you're expected to do a certain number of learning in hours each year. So before we even finished our license, we had already kind of lined up all these classes for now through next March, I think. And our first class was just this past Saturday. So it was Saturday morning for 2 hours, and we learned about education, and which is really, really, really awesome, especially because Bert and I don't have kids in school, so we don't know these terms and these things. We got this like condensed version of this incredibly important information, which is all about how to use, how to help children with special needs, I think is the way they put it. Learning disabilities or things where they just need a little bit more help. So things called IEPs. Oh man, now I can't remember what. Early intervention plan. I think that's what it's called. EIP, early intervention plan. And then a 504. Oh, interesting. I am streaming on YouTube again, and I just noticed that my sister popped in over there and said hi. So, hi, Kim. Everyone's over on Facebook because YouTube was having problems before. Sorry. Okay, back on track here. We learned about these things. I didn't even know they existed. So 504 plans are basically if a child, for example, has maybe ADHD and needs a little bit more help making sure that they can learn. The team will work together. There's a counselor, the parent, the teacher, and usually a representative from the district all come together, and it's an annual meeting to talk about the child and what needs to be done and set a plan in place. And then early intervention plans, they're usually going to set up specific benchmarks that they want to try to achieve within the next year to make progress. So if someone's falling behind in speech development or other areas, it could be tons of all sorts of different things, whatever the child needs, and then figuring out, do they need occupational therapy or speech therapy or whatever it may be, and setting that plan in place that everybody knows what they need to do to support that child. So I had no idea about EIPs and 504s and how they work. And the cool thing is, guys, there's actually an 8-hour training that we can take to learn this even more, which is a 2-day, 4 hours per day program, so that we can learn all the things about education. And it's not just geared for foster children, it's actually information for anybody. So 504s and EIPs are not just for foster kids, they're for all kids. And the trainer on Saturday said, you know what, all parents should have to take this lesson, even if it's just the shortened 2-hour one, but all parents should have to learn what these are, just so they know that these resources are available. Thanks. Kelly is saying early intervention is up until age 3, which is right. And then there's something else too, some other plan. And I'm sorry that I'm not the resource for you to get this information. I swear I understand everything. So an IEP, there it is. So it's not an EIP. So EI is early intervention. It's IEP that I'm trying to say. Here it is. Individualized education program. So that's developed by the whole team. So thank you, Kelly, for pushing me to get the correct information out there for everybody. And the cool thing is, I know people that have children with these plans, and I know people that are educators, and so they have experience with this as well. So I feel like we're very well if supported. So if we do need to have one of these plans in place for any of the children we take in, we're going to have tons of questions, and we'll have the people around us to help us through them, which is really cool. I'm sighing because I'm on call and I'm getting a call and I'm supposed to take this, so I am torn and I'm sorry. I swear, guys, all day long I've been getting the same question. It's supposed to rain in Chicago tonight, but it's not raining, and it's supposed to have been raining all day, and it's not raining. I'm so sorry. Anyway, it's not raining. Games are on. Games are on. If you're watching and you're wondering if your game is on, it is. So that is what I am dealing with today. But the cool thing is, when I'm done being on call this week, I won't be on call for quite a long time. I'm doing my on-call this week because I'll be in Spain for the one I was scheduled for, so I had to trade with people. So that's what's awesome. It's great. Okay, so where I was the education stuff. I think Bert and I are going to sign up for that longer session. They said that is actually required to get your license renewed in 4 years, but why wait, right? Like, that's information that's going to be super helpful. So we're probably going to knock that out sooner rather than later. And then I'll be able to report more useful information back to you. Trying to think if there's anything else that we learned from that training that is really helpful. There's a lot of I always forget this word. Oh my God, I'm so frazzled today. The one where it's the letters, not anagram. The one where, the letters stand for something. So a IEP is Individualized Education Program. Whatever these words are. Remember when I did the game last year for fertility and I taught you all those, that lingo? I now have so many of them for fostering. I would really like to put them together, and we'll do a little quiz show on that again. Acronym, there it is. Thank you, Kim, for coming through in the chat. I appreciate it. Oh my God. So I think we'll do another acronym episode, but probably not for a while, just because things are so crazy. Let's catch up on a few other things real quick. So if you would like to share any wins that you've had in the past 2 weeks, please put it in the chat. I'd love to hear what you've been up to. Anything you want to celebrate, anything that's going on that's a little tough and you just need a little help and support. I'll give you a few other things that we've been... Oh, and Kelly got acronym too. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it. Marcus is like, it's raining again. Bert and I... Let's see, we went to the Cubs game. We've been to a couple festivals in Chicago, which is really wonderful. We really like doing that. It's just a nice way to kind of be out and see what the city offers. The street shuts down and all these vendors are out there and they usually have music and it's just really good vibes. And I love that. I love it so much. And we did the class. We've done a lot of gardening. Our garden is going great. I'm already clipping lettuce almost every morning to put on my breakfast and my lunch. I love it. We also planted a couple blueberry bushes. We'll see how those turn out in a few years because they're only like this tall right now. Got a lavender bush. I love growing things, and I think the thing with learning from what you're growing, right? Sometimes things start to wilt, and even if you water them, they don't perk up. And you're like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And you have to try and figure out another way to fix what you think is wrong. You have to look at this plant. Okay, well, if I watered it and it's still drooping, maybe it needs sun, and you bring it out and give it some sun, and then maybe it's still not fixed, and then you have to figure out, okay, well, is it the soil? Does it need nutrients? And I think raising plants is a little bit like, life, I guess. I was gonna say kids, but also it can kind of just be, it's like a nice, I don't know. I like thinking about things like there's not just one solution for things. And a lot of times you just have to keep trying until you find it. Find what works. And sometimes it'll just fail. I have a plant that got sick. I didn't even know this was a thing, but it was like a bacterial infestation. And it was because instead of watering just the dirt, I had poured water over the leaves, and apparently that is what made the leaves sick, and it got one and it started to spread, and then if it's too close to another plant, it jumps over and it spreads to them. And I learned all this just by doing a little bit more research, and I thought it's because I moved it outside or because I just did the soil, but no, it turns out it was because I watered it and the leaves got wet. So I don't know. My point is, it's things, no matter how you plan and how well you take care of things, sometimes it's not you. It's just how it is. I don't know. It comforts me to think like no matter how hard I try, and I try hard at everything, it's not all going to turn out the way that I planned, right? That's always just kind of how it goes. All right. The birds will love the blueberries. I have protected my strawberries from the birds by putting netting around it, and I'm very proud of myself because I have a strawberry. I cannot wait. It's going to turn red very, very soon, and I can't wait to eat it. I'll have to do something to protect the blueberries as well, but I can't wait to have so many blueberries that I can just throw as many as I want at the chickens next door because they love the blueberries. Kelly saying Paul got the trampoline put together yesterday, and I pulled weeds. It is so great though, like changing your yard, changing your space. It is such a great feeling to do that, I mean, at the end of the weekend, that's why I love doing at least one project a weekend. Just because, at the end of it, you can go, well, I got that done and I've improved my space or made the space more me. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think I'm going to wrap it up soon. As I said, I was going to keep it short. We had some technical difficulties, so thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks for hanging in there with me while I was on my call. That was super embarrassing. Thanks for sharing with me, asking your questions, hanging out with me. I'm going to be here next week and the following Monday. So the 19th, I think that is. And then I will probably take off for the week that I'm gone, but I'm going to try and train Bert so that he can go live in my absence. That's the idea. We're a couple of weeks away from that. In the meantime, I'll continue practicing my Spanish, playing soccer, which I've been doing a lot of lately, trying to get back, to top shape so that I can be ready to play soccer in Spain when I go, and just make sure everything's ready for work before I leave as well, because they're doing a big festival while I'm gone, and I have to make sure it all can run without me. So I'm gonna sign off, get back to work, and keep moving forward. I hope that you have a wonderful week. I can't wait to talk to you again next Monday and hopefully be a lot less frazzled. And thank you. Kelly's telling me it's the 20th. That'll be the last Monday that I'll do before I have to take a week off for the live stream. So thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Have a great week. I will see you next Monday. Thanks for hanging out. Bye. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it works today. Wonderful. Oh, thank you. Oh, Kim, I saw your comment just now. Sorry that it didn't come through before, but nice that you're doing sport camp for bowling. Woohoo! All right. All right, guys. I'll see you later.